Our Prime Minister's US visit grabbed headlines earlier this week. President Biden embraced Prime Minister Modi and subpedaled differences between the two countries. But quite a few prominent members of President Biden's Democratic Party were not as charitable to our Prime Minister. As many as 75 senators and congressional representatives wrote to President Biden asking him to raise issues with our Prime Minister about the diminishing democratic freedom in India in the current regime. Citing reports of the US State Department itself, they drew attention to what they called shrinking of political space, the rise of religious intolerance, the targeting of civil society organizations and of critical journalists, and growing restrictions on press freedoms in Modi's India. These signatories, 75 of them, constitute 14% of the total strength of both chambers of US, which is 535 seats. 14% of them calling out on democratic backsliding in India was clearly killjoy during the bonhomie of a state visit by our Prime Minister to the most powerful democracy in the world. But what drew bigger attention in the media was the former US President Barack Obama's critical reference to the state of minority rights during the Modi stewardship of India. Obama, who was the boss of the current President Joe Biden in the White House for 8 years, gave an interview to CNN just 48 hours before the commencement of our PM's state visit. He began by saying, President Biden must mention to Prime Minister Modi the issue of the protection of the Muslim minority in a majority Hindu India. Obama did not stop there. He went on to say, if I had a conversation with Modi, who I know very well, part of my argument would be that if you do not protect the rights of ethnic minorities in India, then there is a strong possibility India at some point starts pulling apart. Obama presented a dire scenario. We have seen what happens when you start getting those kinds of large internal conflicts. That would be contrary to the interests of not only the Muslim India, but also to Hindu India. What's the conclusion you draw from this? Has Obama joined the ranks of the international conspirators to defame Modi? The bigger question is this Obama's specifically anti-Modi stance or generally an anti-India stance? This distinction is significant because many uncritical supporters of the ruling dispensation believe that if one is speaking against their leader, he or she is speaking against the Indian nation. Barack Obama made that distinction categorically clear when he said, if India as a sovereign democratic republic has to preserve and prosper, the rights and freedoms of those acutely critical of the government must be honored in both word and deed. If we, the citizens of India, forget that cardinal distinction, we would be doing a disservice to our national pride, which goes much beyond a single individual, however popular he may be.